Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Puckin' Stuff Podcast, episode 26, presented by, well, A Man Can Dream.
A man can dream. And yes, he can.
Yes, he can. One thing we can dream about is, well, hopefully certain players sign with the team that we cheer for. I've said that multiple times now, but we'll get into that maybe not in this episode. It stresses me out because something happened today. It's called the draft day. A lot happened, actually. So
You know what? A man can dream for more days like today because holy moly, a lot of crap went down today just before and during and after the NFL or the NHL Draft. I'm too used to that.
I don't know if the video can see, but this is like the list of stuff we have to talk about. That's the whole page pretty much. So
this is going to be a long one. A very long one.
So what do you want? We should probably start with news before the draft, per se. But
yeah, there's some news.
Much going around. I love days like this. I mean, it sucked because, we had work, right? So it's, you can, enjoy it initially. But I'm going to tell you the one trade, though. That Kirby Dach trade, I was in the car.
Wow.
Listening to it on the radio.
Wow.
I actually screamed. Because I'm like, why would you trade Romanov? And then Dach, I'm like, huh? I'm just thinking, okay, I understand. People are going to be like, well, Dach. One bad season. I bet you St. Louis could probably get him up to good. He's going to be playing, actually, with Caulfield and Suzuki and Slavkovsky. So.
This team is actually looking competitive.
And what if Drouin sticks to his roots and scores 3? Did Drouin get traded? I can't remember if Drouin got traded, actually, but
Drouin?
Yeah, hold on. I'm pretty sure he's still with the team, but there's, trade rumors, of course.
Oh, I think he's still with the team. I'm not going to lie to you.
But if he can skip out, still with the Canadians. But if he sticks up to be a 30-goal scorer, it's things are looking up there for Montreal. So Montreal, of course, the draft being in there.
Wow, just a lot of. Oh my gosh, how do you even start this truly? Because I'm looking at all of this, and there's news, there's trades, there's everything you basically want for a draft day.
Yeah,
and you got to also realize free agency is next week.
Yes.
Free agency is next week.
That's good. Content for days.
Content for days.
Oh,
boys.
man. I just know what we're doing next week, but I don't know exactly. I don't know where to start with this. I think let's just honestly get into the news here, and then we'll just go right in. We'll timestamp whatever.
What do we got for news?
All right, first thing on the list here, the Edmonton Oilers. One thing that we do agree on and liking about this franchise is their jerseys. Well, specifically the jerseys that they will be using next season. They're Royal Blues. Thank goodness.
They
also,
went back.
I think we already talked about this in one of our episodes when it was first being leaked, but their third jersey, because I think there's going to be reverse retros again this season.
Oh, yeah?
It's going to be their Todd McFarlane jerseys. So the gear, the oil gear. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the comet-looking thing?
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
It's going to have some orange into it, and I'm like, okay. Might have to buy that jersey, actually, if it's, looking how I think it's going to look.
They actually could pull that off. They could.
It could.
But at the same time, I got a weird feeling they could mess that up.
Edmonton, what do you think? No.
Exactly.
No. But what do you think about this? Because ultimately, I love the Royal Blue jersey, of course, having one. I have two. A Taylor Hall jersey, of course, funny. And just no name. But I love it. Looks sweet. The blue just looks nice, especially in the arena. The blue just looks so good.
Oh.
It matches with the seats. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but it just it helps with the atmosphere, I find.
That is very true. And I'm not going to lie to you. When the Edmonton Oilers first introduced their the jerseys they used to have, they went really into the navy blue, and they really played around with that orange, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't like it. Something about it just made it look so ugly, and I just couldn't buy it. But honestly, this is probably a great move by Edmonton to actually switch their back to the jerseys, the classics, because everyone loves the classics, and you hear every Oilers fan right now just loving it as well as they trade Zach Kassian as well.
Yeah.
So Edmonton's having a pretty good day. I'm not gonna lie. And you look at our side of Calgary, and it's been a really quiet draft day.
I'm honestly glad it's quiet though, because there's some things, unfinished business or business that just needs to be attended to, and I prefer that to be the news and this trade. Oh no, right? it could have been nice because possibility if we still had our pick. I think the pick we traded, was it the Bennett trade or was it Toffoli? I can't remember.
It was Toffoli.
It was Toffoli.
The first round? Yeah, it was.
What would have been nice is we could have got a player like Jager Furcus. You possibly even got someone like Brad Lambert, who was like, I think he's going second round now. Or there was, who else was there? There was like, I said Furcus. There's a few more. I'll have to like keep looking in, but off the top of my head. But yeah, Edmonton, someone called them practice jerseys I saw in the comments section and one of the Instagram posts that was reporting on jerseys? The orange ones, like the navy color, which, I get it. It's just, to me, it wasn't as intriguing to the eye. I did like their dark ones, the ones that they used to this last season.
I know what you said,
those are really cool seeing in game, matched well. But yeah, Royal Blues are better. Speaking of trades, I guess we'll just go right into it. Zach Kassian's kind of one of the later ones right now, but latest trade to be reported as we record this. But Zach Kassian and their 29th overall pick was and future second and third picks or whatever was traded to Arizona and returned for Edmonton's 32nd pick. So I can actually quickly search that up how that went for who got drafted for those picks. But ultimately, Kassian, cap dump a little bit, but you got to make some space now. I don't think, of course, they signed Evander Kane, because when we consider money-wise, but when you're paying so much for a specific amount of players, then that's when, like, okay, you really got to think about that, right? So that helps a little bit, relieves a little bit, and no offense to Kassian, it's becoming a bit of a liability in my opinion. Just the aggressiveness that he was supposed to bring hasn't been there. No. So I think it works out for Edmonton.
That really does. I to be honest, it was a big cap dump because you obviously can see that they can't afford Evander Kane, and they already got so much deadly offense. They kind of realizing, hey, maybe we should try and go out for a goalie, because I hear there's a lot of talk about Jack Campbell into talks of signing with Edmonton when free agency hits. There's a lot of good goaltenders out there that Edmonton could take, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're starting to get rid of players to take that cap dump. Yeah. So they can actually make room for those new additions in the free agency. Like, who knows?
And if you're gonna get Jack Campbell, I think the asking price is $6 million.
Oh, brother.
That's a lot, right? So then that makes sense for Kassian. Plus, then how are you gonna? So like that Puljujärvi would maybe make sense too, right? It's not for us cap space, but maybe that's for a roster spot.
There was also a lot of talks of him getting moved around too. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw Puljujärvi to like Pittsburgh. I was like, oh. I don't know who they would get. Someone was saying, like, Puljujärvi and, like, I think it was, like, Ivan Rodriguez would be, like, that'd be a snake, man. I would love Rodriguez. He's a young player, right? Like, I don't think it's the Crosby effect. I mean, he's a defenseman, but
it's going to be the Crosby to McDavid effect at that point.
Can you imagine Crosby just somehow ups Puljujärvi's game?
Oh, that would be crazy. I actually would probably call him more. That would give me more evidence that he's actually probably one of the greatest of this decade.
100%, man.
Yeah, 100%. I think, is there any other news that we're missing other than Edmonton's new jerseys?
Okay, so speaking of Edmonton, the number 32 pick Edmonton got, they drafted Reed Schaefer from the Seattle Thunderbirds. And number 29... Sorry, Brad Lambert went to the Winnipeg Jets. That's who it was. Okay, actually, this one isn't a terrible one, I find. Arizona picked Maverick Lemieux. So that... not too bad picks. Pretty late in the draft. Some promise there, right? Of course, these players wouldn't make their teams, per se, instantly. Maybe Arizona, but... give it a few years, per se. So, yeah, Edmonton...
Couple of years.
Okay.
Couple of years.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Hit me with it.
Let's go and try and go in this little timeline that allowed us to go to these specific trades. A lot of these involving Chicago. So Matt Murray. Okay, so it's funny I say Matt Murray being Ottawa, even though it has nothing to do with Chicago. But let's get to this. Okay, Matt Murray was supposed to be traded to the Sabres, but declined the trade. Did you ever find? I couldn't find out why. I don't know. I don't think you did.
Why he declined the trade?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a kind of tricky one, I believe, to figure out. I could look into it more if you give me a second, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure why. Well, I know why he would reject it. It is Buffalo after all. They did a lot better after Jack Eichel left, so they're kind of going on the right direction, but Matt Murray just hasn't been the same since Pittsburgh, in my opinion. They signed him to that big deal with Ottawa, and they were like, oh, this is maybe his bounce back because he's still young. I think he's like in prime technically right now.
Yeah, still in prime. I've even heard his rumors, even with Toronto, I'm not even joking, and Edmonton.
Oh, really?
So pretty much this is the goalie carousel, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why I talk about this Matt Murray trade decline is it actually helped the Ottawa Senators get Alex debrincat from the Chicago Blackhawks. So I'll go in depth in this trade here. The Senators get Alex debrincat in return for Chicago. They got their 7th round pick, the 39th overall, and a 2024 third. Wow. What a steal by the Sens. Chicago, it's some weird stuff. I know debrincat wanted out for sure, but I felt like Chicago maybe could have got more.
That's a really hard trade to say because so if you look at Alex debrincat, he just came off it's an improving season, but it's still a pretty good season. If I could quickly just go through all this quick, I can pull up some stats and give them to you. Yeah, so Alex debrincat actually finished second in points with Chicago last year.
Yeah.
He played all 82 games. He put up 41 goals, 37 assists with 78 points. He did have a plus-minus of minus 13, but overall, I believe from his previous season, and he's only played, maybe 2-3 seasons, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm on the correct path of this. That's pretty good. In a third season, when you drop almost 40 goals, almost 80 points, basically 80 points, wow, that's a good season for Alex debrincat. So, is it a bit too little for Chicago to get a first, a second, and a third out of it? I don't know. I think that would base on what we see from him this season. If he improves even more and puts up a 100-point season, you can make the case, Ottawa won the trade. But if he puts up lower than 80, Chicago won the trade.
And ultimately, with Chicago and all their trades, but this one specifically too, going to take time, right?
It really is. He's young.
Their 7th pick when they drafted a left-handed defenseman in Kevin Korsniski. Mm-hmm. It surprises from some people. But you know what? You're getting some young D, and I think the young defensemen are really heavily... I call this the Cale Makar effect. I was just thinking about this today.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was just thinking about this today because a lot of this, of course, like, defensemen are always commodities, but it just seems like they were more common. Like, he's a left-handed, but I was talking about, too, there's a few right-handed defensemen in this top 10.
Yeah.
And that's also, they want puck-moving defensemen now, right? So I think... that's kind of why they went that route. But ultimately, we'll see. Chicago just ultimately, the way that these trades are working, it's a new thing. We're all judging right now, so we'll have to see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Looking weird, but ultimately, Sens getting some forward scoring there, and which is nice because the Sens are going to be able to bring some players like this and might be able to help them. Them also being promised a new arena and deal, so. Maybe things are starting to really look up for the Sens, right? This might be a turning point. It's very possible. And that'd be awesome. I'd love to see the Sens kind of get back to the Alfred and Spezza days.
Is it really weird to think that Ottawa might possibly be out of a rebuild in like this year or next year, depending on how they play?
What's crazy is if they play their cards right in trades, which are they seem to be doing.
Looks like they're
and
doing
they have,
thing.
and if I'm correct, they have a lot of prospect picks that they can just send off, right? And be like, okay, we'll take we'll take a player from you, right?
Yeah.
So, very much so.
A lot of opportunity in Ottawa.
Kind of nice.
A lot of opportunity.
But yeah, speaking of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, God.
And Montreal, okay, so here's the other big trade. This one.
Big boy trade.
Okay, this is how it started. Bettman goes up onto the platform. Everyone boos him. Normal stuff. He's like, you might like this because it involves Montreal with 2 trades. Everyone cheers. Then they hear that Alex Romanov is traded to the New York Islanders. 3-way trade, by the way. And their 98th overall pick.
Yep.
He's traded to the Islanders for the Islanders' 13th overall. few moves from there, and then the mixed reaction came after the second part of the trade. That 13th and their 66th overall goes to Chicago in return for Kirby Dach.
Wow.
This one, I actually just, like, it sounds so weird, but like I screamed, man, at the I'm like, what? No way, because I know he had an off season, but the promise that he has is
Dude,
crazy.
That was...
Heal him up, right? Oh my goodness,
What?
this might be his.
What were you thinking, Chicago?
then-
You drafted this guy, what, 2, maybe 3 years ago? Not even? Like, that is nuts of just why? What was on your mind when you decided to trade him? Like, yeah, top 3 pick. Top 3 pick
Literally.
in 2019. And you guys decided to ship him off after one season in the NHL?
And that's like, I feel like that would have been a good part of your rebuild, right? Also,
Literally, that was one of probably the best. And they
Chica-
traded for 13.
and Chicago's 13th overall pick when they drafted Frank Nazar. So, get some USA-born players. I think he has a decent scoring touch, so I think that's...
You traded that.
But
for
yeah,
another
people were
side.
kind of like weird and stuff. Yeah, debrincat replacement. I don't know, man. I love that for Montreal. Because for a bit, I'm like, I think Romanov was a good piece. Younger side, right? I thought that was some promise to it.
Kirby
I
Dach?
was worried too, right? Because the way they let go of like Mikhail Sergachev to the Lightning,
Yeah.
that's what I was worried about. I'm like, you gotta keep some young pieces on that blue line because you're gonna want to keep consistency. And I don't know, man. I like it. I think Montreal wins it.
I don't see why they don't. I'm not gonna lie. You gave up a 13th and a 60. What would that be? That's technically a first round and a second round. 13th and 66.
Yeah.
You gave up a first and a second for a top 3 draft pick that you picked up 2 years ago, and his season wasn't all living a blaze of glory. Obviously, it wasn't. It was a pretty average. Oh gosh, why can't I see his name on here? Uno momento. There we go. Yeah, he didn't obviously have a crazy good start. He played 70 games and he dropped 26 points, 9 goals, 17 assists, and he had a plus minus of negative 18, which hurts, but Chicago was playing bad enough. Yeah, Chicago loses this trade. Just straight up. Like, you could even say they lost the Alex debrincat trade as well, but just it doesn't look like a pretty night for Chicago. Giving up 2 bright pieces, like they probably wanted to leave, but 2 bright pieces like that for Chicago. I don't know what you're doing, Chicago, but it's not looking pretty right now. I can tell you that.
It's weird. Like I said, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. New management. There's so much new management this year. I've noticed.
Yeah, there was a lot of changes.
Yeah, so that's a lot to think. But yeah, well, I guess we'll see how Chicago goes. Keep on moving here. Excuse me.
What else is in the news?
I'll just get a quick trade in here. The Sharks got the Yotes. Number 27, number 34, number 45 pick in return for Sharks number 11. So the Coyotes for number 11. Hold on. I should have prepared for that. But
yeah, we probably should have prepared a bit better, but oh well.
my thing's messed up. Anyways, number 11 was Connor Geekie. I like this one. I did like this one. Especially because I think Morgan Geekie has very much of a possibility of sticking on with like the Kraken.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think his brother, and of course, I'd take similar game. I'd say center. So it's nice, a young centerman, 6'3". I think that might be a good little pick up there for Arizona. And as well, number 27 was Philip Bysted, centerman. So you get another centerman, also 6'3". But he's European, right? So if I'm correct, he's Swedish. And Swedish players, man, always nice getting them late in the draft.
Yep.
Eyes are playing game, baby.
For some reason, Calgary loves the Swedish right now. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's...
The Swedish fish
they
really
can help
came
them.
on to us, but... well.
All right, another trade here, too. Oh, speaking of Chicago, they get Peter Mrazek and Toronto's 25th round pick? And that 25th pick was Sam Rinsel. Defenseman for Waterloo USHL, 6'3" as well. But hey, you get another defenseman there, young defenseman. That's not bad. Hey, maybe makes Seth Jones not look as bad. Haha,
knee slapper with Seth Jones.
Toronto got number 38 overall pick there. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going down the list here and keep checking it off. Okay, now let's get into more. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Trades. Okay, Avalanche win the cup, right? Okay, so let's see this. One thing is that Darcy Kemper, I guess, is not going to be coming back, and it's confirmed.
That just got confirmed.
Avalanche. Weird one. No, I see it. This team can probably win with more than just one goalie, but I think Kemper really played, of course, a big part in winning it. So it's really weird. Good for him. Got his cup. He well deserved. But then they trade for Alexander Georgiev. In return for New York, they get 2022 third, the 5th round pick, and a 2023 third.
Smart.
So hey,
like
Avs are the type of team where they can make some player look like God descent. So hey, maybe Georgiev picks up his game again, because he really was being overshadowed by Shesterkin. Shesterkin was playing much better, but New York is no longer 1A, 1B.
No.
It made sense before, but now that Shesterkin has proven himself to be this up-and-coming next top 3, top 5 goalie in the league. Wins the Vezina too, right? So, makes sense. They'll probably just go for a simple backup. I don't know who they'll get. Maybe like I think Eric Comrie is for Toronto, but someone like that, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that there, but...
I'm not going to lie. I think this was the right pickup because obviously you know that Darcy Kemper went off kind of a career season and he won a cup off of it. So you know he's probably going to ask for a bigger payday than he probably would. And to be honest, with Colorado already knowing that, I thought this was a pretty smart trade by them because Georgiev is on the right side of 30. He's 26. He's hitting his prime. New York knew how to run their goalies. Like, you look at the prime examples of Henrik Lundqvist, and you look at their new rising star, Igor, obviously, that we've all heard about, Vezina winner, and you're looking at a backup that was kind of overshadowed, so maybe this is his chance at redemption for Colorado, which has literally a beast team in front of him. Like, this was overall a great trade for Colorado, and I don't see a huge loss. So if he turns out as well as he does, I see Colorado winning this trade and having a star goaltender for the next couple of years for them.
I think no matter which direction they make trades and stuff for cap reasons, they're still going to be here, even if they lose Kadri, man. They're still going to be there. Colorado is going to, even if they don't make the finals next year, this thing is so far ahead, but it's like, even if they don't, they're still going to be a top 5 team. They're going to be
for like
finals contenders for a few years to be. So I don't really see too much whatever. Let them enjoy their cup. Let them bask in that. And honestly, I think it doesn't seem too hard. It doesn't seem too whatever. I think it's a farewell adieu. It's I think both sides understand.
Yeah.
I think Kemper, you know what? Wherever he'll go, please not Edmonton. He will. You know what? With that resume and stuff, I think he's gained some more confidence too. I bet you see his game increase significantly.
Literally.
I think he can honestly. I think he now has the ability that he might be able to straight up just steal games for any team he plays for.
He did it a lot last season.
So
a lot.
That'll be a lot to see, and I'm excited for him. So good for Kemper. They split ways. Kind of a bittersweet ending, but hey. All celebration till the season starts, eh?
Yep. Actually, before we move on, I wanted to ask you this question about Kemper. Do you have a prediction by any chance of where Kemper could possibly land? Do you see him going to Edmonton, or do you see him going somewhere else?
Okay, so I think Edmonton would make sense. It seems like a Ken Holland move, right? Just paying a lot of money for a goalie.
Yeah.
They do need a darn goalie, and I think Kemper would honestly be a good fit. You find the cap space for that, because you're going to have to pay more. Of course, him literally winning a Stanley Cup, so you're going to overpay probably over 20% of what you would pay him if they did not make the finals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? This one just comes to my head. It probably won't happen. New Jersey's been shopping around a lot, right? They've been asking about Gaudreau, Kachuk too, much other forward. I think... I don't want to say more, but so if they're gonna go for big star names, maybe you think if they want to add in a goalie, maybe Kemper's in there too. I don't really. The goalie carousel's weird, but of course the first thing that comes to us, the two teams, Toronto and Edmonton. So maybe Toronto too because of Campbell. But
I don't think they can afford it because I think Campbell would actually be. I think Darcy Kemper would be asking more than Campbell.
Well, I was gonna say like, there's no way Campbell gets more than Kemper when Kemper literally just won a Stanley Cup and won like games.
If he does, that is just the most absurd thing I'll probably see in this whole free agency.
Weird, right?
Like that would be nuts, but. Oh my god,
man! What do you guys think? Write that down.
That's a question for you guys, man.
Comment in the TikTok comment section there.
Yeah, we'll make a TikTok for this. Woot woot, boys.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one. I'll just say Edmonton just because I think Ken Holland would be paying like $6 million for him. So.
You'd probably pay him $7 million, to be honest.
I'll just go Edmonton. And depending how the Flames look once free agency's done, good battle of Alberta's.
Good Battle of Alberta's, which my brain can totally handle. And
let's just move on here. Hey, I think that's pretty much it.
Should we head to the top 10?
Well, almost, because free agent signings. Okay, quickly. Right. Pittsburgh, long time, gonna be Hall of Famer. Chris Letang signed 6 years, so till the end of his career.
Pretty much.
$6.1 million per year. Ultimately, makes sense. They'll probably regret paying that much money for, say, come in 3 years from now. But, hey, he's going to finish his career here, and he still has a lot of upside to him.
That's very true. I think the contract is a bit longer because, obviously, Chris Letang is not exactly on the right side of 30 anymore. Yeah. But he had a career high this year in 68 points this season. And he is still a star player, technically, for Pittsburgh right now, especially with that aging core. So I think maybe if you shortened it to maybe 3 years, I wouldn't be so mad or so curious about this deal. But, hey, I would still say it's worth it right now, as of right now.
Yeah, and it makes sense right now. Veteran leadership, too. And Pittsburgh's prospect pooling is so nice. So having, veteran leadership there is going to be very nice to have.
Yeah.
Keep some of that championship mentality in there. But it might change a little bit too, because we speak of this, when this was announced, Gino Malkin, Evgeny Malkin, comments on it and says, hopefully I'm not playing against you next year. And now a lot of us, including me, are taking this as, okay, so they paid him a lot, so do they even have the cap space? I guess this is a good question then. Do they sign Malkin as well? Like, very much people genuinely believe, and New York is a lot in these rumors. New York would take Gino.
They really would. They would take Malkin.
I feel like they would. That's so.
For New York, for such a young team that went on a deep run like that, getting a veteran leadership Stanley Cup finalist winner, Evgeny Malkin, would probably be really, really needed for New York because you have New York has almost every piece to literally take it all away. And this is just the cherry on top of the pie, honestly, in my opinion. And
great for a cup run.
For a cup run. He is your big-bodied Russian that knows how the one-timer like Ovi. And it's scary because he's just Ovi 0.2, really. Yeah. But just centered version. And it's bigger and stuff. He's scary.
He's always been underrated, too. Oh, and that might sound weird, but you really think about it because you compare him to his superstar counterparts of his era. And he's never up there, of course. Well, he's up there, of course, but he's not. It's just not as respected, I find, as much, of course, as Crosby and Ovechkin. Of course, understand, but still going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and
he will.
He could very much so admit him to New York. New York's is trying to chase that cup run.
Mm-hmm.
Could very much will happen next year. Very possible, and that could help him a lot.
He is I would say he's the Yager towards Mario Lemieux. That's what Malcolm is in my eyes.
Yeah, Malcolm to Crosby?
Yeah.
That'd be very weird to see him not in a Pens jersey. I couldn't see it, but at the same time, I could see a Gino Malkin in a Rangers jersey.
That would look sick.
But it's weird compared to black and gold and blue and red and white. The Blue Blanc and Rouge. I guess that's Montreal.
It would be a little bit weird, but Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens in free agency next week, I guess.
Exactly. And speaking of Pittsburgh, former Pittsburgh Penguin, a long time, Marc-Andre Fleury, has signed an extension with the Minnesota Wild. 2 years, $3.5 million per. I like this. He is, of course, ripening up on the... Is he on the wrong side or right side of 30? I cannot remember.
He is on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah. But Minnesota's going to stick with him.
Yeah.
Talbot will probably go away. I feel bad for Cam Talbot. He doesn't deserve to be moved around 100 times. And he had a great... I think Talbot did his job. He was solid. I think he honestly deserved to keep himself a spot. Maybe they do keep him as a backup, but I think Talbot has that possibility to stay on a team and be their starter for a few years. And it's just like... And that's the human side, that empathy, I feel. It's like... It sucks, right? Because, think of it, he's got, a family and stuff. So I think of it what? Moving all around must not be the best.
Oh, no.
But I get why they signed Fleury. Good for marketing, too.
Yeah, good for marketing.
But we'll see with Minnesota. Like the Fiala thing, I guess he's probably traded because of cap reasons. He got a big extension, almost $8 million. That's just crazy. He got $8 million. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we already had a rant on that next episode.
So I guess we'll see what Minnesota is. Minnesota's in a weird spot, and they always are in a weird spot. They make some trades. You think, maybe they'd be better, but they seem to always stay in that.
They're mediocre.
It's weird, man. It's mid. It's very mid.
They're very mediocre, and it's kind of sad because you kind of look at their prospect pool and their young potential for this team because we all know who it is.
Well, you better damn well find some scoring or some forward depth for Kaprizov.
Yeah, Kaprizov is probably one of the best prospects that the Wild have had in a while, and they're not wasting him obviously, but I don't know how to feel about them finding Fleury. I really don't.
It feels like I don't know. We're not. This is more than just a Fleury thing, but I feel like they're just coasting.
Yeah,
they should be doing more. I find, but who am I to judge? I just think Minnesota's been coasting all this time. They stupid contracts like the Parise and Suter contracts, right? Stuff like that. It just always set them back, and I don't. Of course, the Fleury thing I don't think it's a setback, but because you're containing with an older goalie, one who is consistent and of course has very much a good notoriety, you better well make sure that your team next year has some more firepower. That you're not just losing it all.
That is very true.
Same with I would say even if you add an extra defenseman, I wouldn't say big name, but someone that can solidify that right side. I mean, with a help along with Spurgeon and Dumba, because I've even heard Dumba might have some trade thing, some trade has some trade rumors.
Dumba as well.
Of course, we'll see how it happens, but I think Minnesota is going to have to take more of the Montreal approach this season and just do it. No ball, just do it.
No ball, do it.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens with Minnesota, though. But
there's a lot of things that could happen this free agency. Oh, God. I'm terrified.
I know. Anything else you want to say there before we get into the draft, the top 10s there?
No, to be honest, I think we're pretty dead on. I think that Minnesota has always been in a mediocre spot and not taking that next step up, as they probably should with what they have right now. And I guess we'll just have to see what they sign free agency. There's not much to say until free agency, in my opinion. And we will get into the top 10 picks in the NHL entry draft. Tristan, you've been on a roll all night with this. Yeah, I'll just let you continue. Who do we got first at number 1?
Oh, man. Okay, hold on. So, who thought Shane Wright was going number 1? Because, I don't know, man. A part of me was like, once I saw the Bob McKenzie thing, I'm like, I could see Slavkovsky going just because of that. Okay, I'll be honest. I should have done more research into the draftees prior to the draft. Because on paper, right, Shane Wright's points are just absolutely phenomenal. But although, let's just get into this.
How about
Shane Wright is not pick number 1, number 2, number 3, but he's pick number 4.
Oh, we're jumping right over the 4.
No, I'm not jumping in. I'm just saying, just to get some context. Okay, so first, Montreal picks forward Juraj Slavkovsky, Slovakian. Speaking of a Slovakian, New Jersey picks a right-handed defenseman, by the way, hot commodity, really nice. Give me a great pick, I think, for New Jersey. Simon Nemec, right-handed defenseman, man, that is hype. I always love hearing when they say hot commodity of a right-handed shot, because I'm right-handed when I play hockey, right? So I think that's really funny. I guess you are too, but
Yep.
I think it's pretty awesome. And then Arizona, Logan Cooley, a forward. Saw him a little bit, of course, with the World Juniors there. I like his play. I think that's a good pick too. It's just the fact that Seattle gets Shane Wright. That's just number 4, and then he stares down Montreal. Once sees them.
Dude, did you see that stare down that Shane Wright gave Montreal right at the table? Because like the big stage was right here, and then just Montreal's table was the closest to it. And then you see him with Gary Bettman shaking his hand, smiling, and then you see his jaw just drop. And oh my God, he gave the biggest death stare I've ever seen to Montreal. And yeah, he's gonna remember all 3 teams passing on him. But
definitely.
if I really look at it, I don't see why Montreal truly passed him. I don't know what happened after the draft combine, and like I don't know if it's if it's a personality, bad in interviews, but just I looked at the stats of this guy, and I've seen some highlights. Why didn't he go number 1? I don't get it. It has to be a personal thing or personality-wise, because it looks like he could fit well with how Montreal's going, especially with their centers.
Yeah.
Because another franchise center like him would definitely help Cole Caulfield and just that whole young prospect pool. New Jersey, in my opinion, made a great move by taking going for the defenseman instead of going for Shane Wright, because they're already loaded up on centers. They got Jack Hughes and they got their many others.
And then just imagine if, for say, some of these rumors happen and New Jersey gets a Gaudreau, some type of some our power
Stop
forward.
dropping Gaudreau, man.
I know. I'm
hear
just
it.
saying, right? Like it just that makes New Jersey look even more promising, for say. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I think New Jersey had no reason to pick up Shane Wright, and it makes sense why. Anyways, back to the third pick with Arizona. I'm surprised Arizona didn't go for Shane Wright. I'm very shocked. And then it literally just fell into Seattle's hands. Like, nothing. That, like...
Well, it kind of works for Seattle,
so convenient.
Too. It works for Seattle, too, because they need some... Well, okay... They kind of do need a figurehead.
Yeah.
This is their figurehead.
This is a great figurehead.
Up-and-coming young prospect from up north. Shane Wright. Right? And that's going to... I think that works with their plan. Because Seattle is not going to be what Vegas is. I mean, we know this. They're not going to be what Vegas is. But it's going to take some time. And I think the players and the prospects know this. That it's going to take some time for Seattle to get to where, we eventually expect them to be once the rebuild, or what? It's not even a rebuild. Sorry, not a rebuild. Their build, I guess. Their foundation is set. I don't even think it's fully completed set, but I think the right pick is definitely a start of adding a little more concrete to their foundation, making it stronger. Right? I think it works for Seattle. It's nice. You just hope that. So.
They're working on the foundation right now. I understand what you're throwing down.
So, ultimately, I'm trying to just keep on the conversation with Shane Wright, and then I will go back to number 1, talking about Slavkovsky, of course. But the thing with Wright is, when I heard and saw that he wasn't going to go 1, 2, or even 3, the thing that I thought the most was, I wonder if it's like the Yakupov situation. So he gets drafted 1, but if you remember that Brian Burke story on Spit and Chicklets where he talks about how his worst draft interview ever was Yakupov. And he said that it was a snarky, I think it's egotistical, things like that. Maybe there's something, I think that would have to be the explanation. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth or anything or cause speculation, of course, but there's got to be a reason, because you scored that much, but was there has to be, of course, more to it. This play, and I don't know how his combine was, but we would have heard something if the combine was absolutely garbage, right? Like, I remember hearing, was it Nylander who couldn't do a pull-up? Or it was someone who couldn't do a pull-up. Doesn't matter. Kids, scoring at will now, like in the NHL, but there was a player, and that's all you heard about. So if there was something like, he wasn't physically active or physically fit, and able to do the combine, we would have heard it.
Yeah, we probably would have heard something from there.
I don't know. I'm guessing it's gonna be a bit of a personality thing, and I think maybe it showed a little bit with the stare down.
Yeah, it really did.
Don't think. I don't know. You know what? These kids are young, like they're our age, right? And
Yeah.
we all got egos. You know what I mean? Like
Our generation's getting worse and worse. It's okay.
Maybe it's just a little bit of mentoring. Maybe you need a little bit of that. It's weird. I don't know. It's out of nowhere, but man, hockey social media, that was fun. I love when the crowd gets all riled up, and then the crowd too in Montreal when they heard Slavkovsky. Actually, I didn't actually hear any boos.
Wait, on TV?
Yeah.
On TV you didn't, but if you watch videos of media, you could hear the boos.
Oh, you did?
You could hear the boos mid in there.
Yeah.
There was some cheering, but you heard the boos and everyone's just kind of like, huh, why did you miss out on a potential player like Shane Wright? But then there has to be something they saw. 100%, there has to be. There's no way they just don't pass. There's no reason you pass on that.
But then when New Jersey picks, you're like that. And then it's even louder when Arizona doesn't pick them. That was my favorite. When they're like from the USHL program. And as soon as they say, like, as soon as Arizona's GM says US, as soon as Bill Armstrong says US, literally as US, all you hear is, what? No way.
Yeah, just
and
this
like,
jaw.
what the heck? It's funny. I love the crowd, man. They're awesome. They're boom Bettman all night. I thought that was the best. Great.
But, like, in Arizona's case, so they selected Logan Cooley, the center, for the U.S. as well, as you were just mentioning. I looked at his stats here, and they weren't obviously spectacular, like, obviously Shane Wright's numbers, but he is still a talented center for his age. He did put up a couple points during the juniors as well, but just compared to Shane Wright's level, why would Arizona pass up on that too? That just blows my mind in this scenario, but it literally just fell into the Kraken's hands. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to make a crazy trade like Montreal for this, and you end up with possibly the most potential player in the draft. This could be one of the steals.
So it's funny because I'm thinking about how, like, you know, those stories about, like, the 2000, I think it was the 2000 draft. That was, like, when the Sedin twins, 99 draft. I think it was when the Sedin twins got picked. Yeah. There's so many stories, whatever. Of course, we haven't had a crazy whatever, but this has been the craziest draft in so long. Mm-hmm. Just with this, and a lot of weird picks and stuff. Of course, we probably don't know as much as, like, those do. They also have prospects. Oh, they also have, of course, these teams also have scouts that go to the games.
Yeah.
So maybe they even see locker room things? Is that possible? Right? You know what I mean? I haven't heard
They
anything.
go for interviews in the locker room. I would assume so. It is possible,
but
yes.
Like, as a teammate too, right? So let's talk about Slavkovsky, though. Why he went number one? Because his point totals aren't what you would look at. Oh, he went number one overall. But I think one thing that's positive about him, and this is why I think a lot of European players are just ultimately being picked more now than Canadians. I find a lot of these top spots is just because these European players, like, they're learning the game, the Canadian game, and they're playing at such a young age with older players, and they're getting that experience.
Yeah.
I think even, this sounds so dumb, but I think even the open ice helps. The bigger ice, right? Yeah, because it's harder to play with tighter, with less room to play per se, but more open ice, you have to do more, especially if you're playing your defensive game. You have to be able, right, to, like, position yourself correctly, because that little bit of extra ice, right,
changes a lot.
And you can tell when you watch a European style hockey game, or if you watch, like, the WIHF, but it's in Europe.
I forget, how much bigger is it in Europe? Is it only by a couple feet?
I remember, but it's enough that, like, it's noticeable.
Oh,
like,
really?
You notice, like, the space between the boards and the
Lost on words.
The circles, the
face-off circles?
The face-off circles,
there
the zone circles. Oh my goodness, no way.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, literally. The zone circles, yeah. There was spaced out more, and then there's a bit more room, of course, behind the net and the trap. Stuff like I can't remember specifically, but I think that would make sense. But Slavkovsky really was, like, Slovakia's best name and player, per se, come in for Slovakia. I guess we'll see. I don't know if these guys are playing for the IIHF. I don't even know what's happening. Are they still playing in August?
Pardon. Sorry to interrupt. I actually just searched this up. So NHL rank is 200 feet long with 85 feet wide. A European rank is 97 feet wide, but 98.5 feet in wide. So length. So a NHL rink is longer. It's technically less wide. A European rink has less length but wider.
That is weird.
Very weird. I never knew that.
I never noticed that it was longer. I guess I've never been to Europe, so I wouldn't see
yeah,
it,
we've never been to Europe. But it's actually, the rink is wider, but it's technically shorter.
It's funny, hey? You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Being such a big hockey fan, I didn't realize that it was like that. That's funny.
Wow, that's
weird.
Oh my god, I want to try that.
But
that would sound like such a big difference.
But man, like just the space of width, because your cross crease passes, man. Like the defenseman must have absolute joyrides on a power play with that much space to play with. You know what I mean?
That much room across, like as a defenseman, would scare me when I pass the puck across
dirty
the
one-tees,
ice.
man. Some dirty one-tees.
Oh my god.
So that's like kind of cool. Yeah,
that is. Wow, I never knew that.
But could you actually go on and let's talk about Slafkovsky's point production there.
Point production? I actually pretty sure I had that up already. Just give me 1 second.
It really was just a weird draft, but
really
I think drafting more Europeans does make sense, and they really are starting to really dominate the game.
They really are.
It's the Canadians, but Europeans are able to learn. They're able to adapt, and it's just not becoming a problem anymore.
All right, I got some stats for you. So for Slafkovsky's stats, so one of them is 2021 TBS. He played 31 games and he dropped 10 points, 5 for 5, and only got a plus minus of 1. And he was playing Slovakia a few games. He went 7 games for 7 goals and a plus 5.
That's nice.
3 games, he only got 1 assist. For 8 games, he got 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. And then for TBS U20, he played 11 games, dropped 6 points, 12 assists, and 18 with a plus minus of 6. So, not crazy stats.
Numbers you wouldn't expect coming out of this, but ultimately I think he has a scoring touch, and I bet you that being taught St. Louis, man, he's helped Caulfield get that scoring touch back. And
that is true, but I'm just so shocked why you would take a franchise left winger when you already have Cole Caulfield, when you could take the potential franchise center that you kind of are pushing a little bit towards right now. So it's just really shocking to me that they went that route.
It is so, but I do like the idea of a line that can consist of Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slafkovsky.
Yeah, it does look
I think
good.
that could be pretty sick. Weird draft, man.
Very weird draft.
I guess we'll just keep going in, but number 5 there, Philadelphia picked.
Huh, yes, they did.
Picked a forward in Carter Gauthier. Columbus picked a right-handed defenseman, another right-handed defenseman, like we were saying, and David Jiricek. Chicago then at number 7, we already talked about this, left-handed defenseman Kevin Korsniski. Detroit then picks a number 8 forward, Marco Kasper. So he's European. The eyes are planned. So Marco Kasper is automatically going to be He's automatically going to be a 20-goal scorer come in the next 2 years, probably. I like this one too. Buffalo and picks forward Matt Savoy. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he plays like his brother, and I think Carter Savoy is a good prospect for Edmonton. I think that's very possible that that could pull out really well. And I love this. This might be one of the steals. I don't know if this is the greatest steal, but I think it's one of the better steals for say come in this draft is Anaheim's pick left-handed defenseman Pavel Mishnikov. And I love that some teams are still they're taking the leap of faith, I guess, in picking Russian players, and I understand it might be so whatever because of what's happening right now, but I feel like this is cause for these Russians going down later in the draft, and these teams are going to get steals, right? And I think that I still believe that, and I think that's really, and I think that's gonna really benefit these teams. Like Washington got one too, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's probably one of my favorite ones is the Mishakov selection there by Anaheim, which sucks. It's Anaheim and its Pacific team, and boo. No,
Boo.
but good for them.
We haven't liked them since 2015. Very bad times.
I guess anything to say
Fleeting
on that? I
flashbacks.
don't know. Looking to into their prospect pooling and stuff. I think, is there any of those names that really kind of intrigued you?
A bunch of names that really intrigued me. I'm not gonna lie, I was very shocked to see Chicago pick up a defenseman on 7th because like you drop two of your potential center prospects and you add more to the depth because they also, I believe, after they picked up on 7th, they also picked up another defenseman in the farther rounds after they picked up that center. Not a whole lot of names truly pop out at me. Every team kind of had, like, after the Shane Wright went 4th, I kind of see why every team picked up what they needed. Like, Philly went and got their left winger, Cutter, and that kind of makes sense to me. Columbus went and picked off the defenseman. Did you see him kiss the logo after he got the jersey?
I actually didn't see that. I missed that.
Yeah, when he got drafted and he was walking to the interview, he kissed it. And I was like, that's funny.
pretty cool though.
Then Chicago picks up Kevin, the defenseman, and not much to say. I was very shocked to pick them up. And then Detroit goes with the centerman, not very surprising either. And then, like you were mentioning with Buffalo and Matthew Sukhoi, pretty good pickup. Obviously, you don't have a true center, and that might be your best pickup. And you're on your phone.
No,
I'm watching TikToks or something.
No, I'm still trying to find like any updates. If there's any like more news, there hasn't been any, but just got.
Hey, you never know. That would be sick if a trade happened when we were on doing an episode. And Anaheim actually had a pretty good pickup as well. Wow, a lot of defensemen went off the board first top 10.
It was 6 forwards and 4 defensemen, and I'm telling you, I think it is a Cale Makar effect. I just
wouldn't be that surprised.
It's because they're young and they're fast, and teams want puck moving defensemen now. They just want defensemen that play on their toes and they can do it all, right? And I think that's something.
It really
pretty
is
crazy, right? One of them, I can't remember which player it was now. I think it was one of their defensemen, and if I'm correct, it might have been Juracek, who said who play their style of game, or maybe it was Korsniewski, who play their style and want to be like Makar. So they kind of prove my point. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, they are like looking at Makar's play, and they think they like to base their game off of his.
Oh, of course.
So they're looking at that, right?
If
He is already changing the way the defenseman plays. This is like a Pronger, man, or Niedermayer. That's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't that surprising to me that this effect happened so quick because McDavid for forwards had this effect when he first joined the league because of people looked at his skating. Now defensemen all across and hockey itself have. If you're a defenseman, you're looking up and watching Cale Makar play because how this man evolved the game of a defenseman is unbelievable levels. That's like we haven't seen in many, many years, especially how offensively and defensively defensemen have to play, and it's insane because he did stop McDavid during playoffs.
Like I'm just thinking the difference between him and a defenseman 10 years ago. How did Jay Bouwmeester play?
Oh,
it was very highly sought out.
Different.
How was Dion Phaneuf like when you first got drafted? I remember, of course, we all know like about the hype getting him, right? You know, and this of course was when Calgary saw that promise of they probably may make it back to the cup again, right?
Yeah,
it can help out Iggy and stuff. And
man.
The difference between them is just crazy. And it's really cool seeing the game evolve, and it's because of specific players, like how Crosby did it, how Ovi's done it, how McDavid's done it. I was Stephen McKinnon. Matthews goal scoring, yes, he's changed the way in the goal scoring.
In a sense,
but Makar, and this is like the most prominent one because it's definitely being talked about more, and it's cool. So I guess we'll get to see a bit of a difference in how it plays. And I like it. I like this conversation though. It's very like.
Gotta love off season, eh?
Off-season's
a great time. And I believe that is our top 10. That were the top 10 picks in the 2022 NHL Draft. And guys, this isn't even close to stopping because we got free agency next week. And oh my god, it's just the beginning. And content right now is nuts.
Okay,
and
hold on.
this man needs to turn down his volume as we're trying to outro.
Sorry, man. Okay, I think before... Hold on.
Oh, there might be something.
We're just going to quickly just go over through the rest, okay? So number
go
11 was Connor Geekie, Arizona Coyotes. Number 12 was Denton Matruk for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The 13th overall was Frank Nazar to the Chicago Blackhawks. 14th overall was Rudiger McGroarty to the Jets. Jonathan Lekermiaki. I had this name and I completely forgot to pronounce it, but Jonathan Lekermiaki to the Canucks. Very Finnish. That makes sense. Always the Canucks. Noah Olslund goes to the Buffalo Sabres.
Another center.
Also too, Joe Sakic, GM of the year. Of course, makes sense.
Not surprising.
Joakim Kimmel to the Preds, 17th overall. 18th overall was Leon Bichelle to the Dallas Stars. Liam Ogren goes to the Minnesota Wild at 19th overall. Now, the steal, I believe, as well as Ivan Miroshenko to the Capitals. Great goal scoring ability, so kind of nice. Him and Ovi on the power play.
Oh my god, that would be terrifying.
I didn't mind this one either. I guess everyone wanted Brad Lambert because everyone's thinking Lambert would go here. But Owen Pickering goes to the Penguins, 21st overall. Nathan Goucher goes 22nd overall to the Anaheim Ducks. St. Louis Blues get Jimmy Snuggerud to 23rd overall. 24th overall is Danila Yurov. And that was 24th overall for the Minnesota Wild. 25th overall, Sam Rizal, Chicago Blackhawks. 26th overall, Philip Missar to the Montreal Canadiens. And then 27th was Philip Bystedt to the San Jose Sharks. Buffalo Sabres got Yuri Kulich, 28th overall. 29th overall was Maverick Lamoureux. Brad Lambert was 30th. 31 was Isaac Howard to the Lightning. He had a great suit. That was an awesome white suit. That was awesome. He got the American belt buckle. That was pretty cool. And 32nd was Reed Schaefer, Edmonton Oilers. I also want to say, too, before we end off, is you notice a lot of teams had most of the picks in the first round. And these are all, on the rebuilding side. Anaheim had a few. Seattle didn't actually have a lot. Seattle only had one in the first round. But Montreal had a few. Buffalo, Anaheim.
Arizona. It was quite a few.
So you can tell which teams are really trying to get the prospect pulling up for the rebuild, and which teams are on the retool. You can kind of really space out the teams, how they are and how they're feeling.
It was a fun draft day, though. It was a fun draft day.
Now on to off-season.
Off-season talk, boys.
Next week.
Free agency on the way. And I am very excited to see what happens next week. If you guys did enjoy this episode, I would much appreciate if you leave a like, drop in the comments what you guys want to see next or anything you want to see do, and please subscribe. That would be much appreciated from T-Dog and I. And T-Dog, I'll let you finish it off as always.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Leave a like, comment wherever you are watching or listening to us. Follow us, you can if you'd like, on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Buzzsprout, TikTok, and you can also follow us on our website where we post blogs and our podcasts, puckandstuff.wixsite.com/podcast. And hey, let us know in the comments. What do you think about the draft? What do you think about these signings and trades? Do you Slavkovsky deserve to be number one? How do you feel about Shane Wright? Should he have gone number 4? Should he have gone higher or lower, wherever? And as well as you guys comment too. Excited for the free agency. What do you think is going to happen? Give us your comments and your opinions, and hey, we can look into them and stuff, and maybe even give our opinions too. So hey, boys, keep on rocking in the free world. I guess that's going to be my quote that I steal from Nardwar, the Human Serviette. Shout out to that guy. I love that guy. And hey, can't wait till next week.
We'll see you in the next one.
It better be good. Please. Calgary, please. That's what I'm asking.
Please do something right. We'll see you in the next one, boys.